In the spring of 1992, a wave of terror quietly rolled along Interstate 70, a highway that cuts through the Midwest. Small businesses, especially mom-and-pop shops run mostly by women, became the stage for a string of killings that seemed almost clinical. The killer's method was eerie in its precision. He'd enter a store, usually a bridal boutique, shoe shop, or small gift store, calm and unassuming. Witnesses who saw him before the attacks described him as thin, neatly dressed, with reddish-brown hair and sharp, almost cold eyes. He didn't rush, he didn't act nervous. He'd approach the lone clerk, pull out a .22 caliber pistol, and fire a single shot to the back of the head. Then he'd leave. Sometimes he'd grab a small amount of money, but often, he didn't take anything at all. The craziest story unfolded in Terre Haute, Indiana. A young bridal shop clerk was working alone when he came in. He browsed the racks of wedding dresses, asked a couple of quiet questions, then pulled the gun. The shot rang out, and she collapsed instantly. The man didn't linger. He slipped out the door and vanished, certain he had claimed another victim. But this time, fate twisted. The bullet had entered her skull but missed every critical part of her brain. Bleeding, half-blind and barely conscious, she managed to crawl to the shop's phone. With her last bit of strength, she dialed for help. Against all odds, she survived, the only known living victim of the I-70 killer. Her description of him: late 20s to 30s, thin build, reddish hair, piercing eyes, became the cornerstone of the FBI's profile. But even with that rare eyewitness account, the killer slipped back into the shadows. Then, years later, whispers started again, this time along Interstate 35 in Texas. Between 2001 and 2003, a series of eerily similar murders unfolded in small strip malls, lone clerks, small specialty shops, execution-style shootings, same caliber weapon. The press dubbed this phantom the I-35 killer. Investigators wondered if the I-70 killer had resurfaced, older now but still hunting in the same cold, methodical way. The strangest part: unlike most serial killers, he never escalated, never left haunting letters, never sought attention. He simply appeared, killed with surgical precision, and disappeared back into the endless sprawl of America's highways. To this day, the FBI keeps the case open. They've tested DNA, re-examined ballistics, and chased leads across multiple states. Nothing. Whoever he was a ghost on the interstate. Truckers still talk about him, the faceless drifter who moved like smoke from one town to another, leaving behind silence and bodies. And the one woman who lived to tell the tale. She carries the memory of staring into his eyes just seconds before he pulled the trigger, an encounter with a killer who, 30 years later, has never been caught.